at that horn belly. Take after take, there's so many edits and clips that are bloopers and just no good for vlogs, and you look through that and you're like, oh my god, is that me? How am I such a fumbling idiot? But then you get and capture these golden moments. There's some moments that are just gold, and then there's moments that you don't capture because you forgot the phone or you forgot your camera, and you're like, wow, that would have been perfect. And it seems that way, but the reason it felt so perfect was actually because there wasn't a phone. It's a funny thing where when you're recording, you're always trying to present your best, but when you're by yourself, no camera, moments find themselves rather than you're looking for them. It's a different feel. It's great though. It is beautiful. It's like authenticity. You know, you never trust a man who smiles all the time. Why? Because it's fake, dude. Why are you smiling in my face like that? What's going on? What are you up to? See, genuine smiles come from emotions when you're genuinely excited about something, happy, laughing, and you get that feel, which is why you crack a joke for a great picture and you catch everybody off guard, and then boom, everyone's cheesing, and it makes for real smiles, and those are always the best pictures. Same type of thing with content creation, and you'll find this is a thing where content creators right now especially are weeding themselves out. The ones that are shilling and fake, you can start to, if you haven't already, see through it, and if you are already, it'll make you cringe where you just can't. And then they weed themselves out. It's a thing where you better find your raw, radical, extreme, honest self and present it, because if you don't, you're going to be left behind. You don't want to be going down in history as that guy who went along with these agendas that, well, ultimately with real discernment, the real people see right through, and those are the ones that history's going to matter for. Not all these brain dead sheep, NPCs, fluoridated zombies, they're already ghosts. But the people who are awake, that are continuing on through generations, will remember all that. Hi, buddy. Dusty boy. Get you out of the mud, haven't we? Yeah, we're doing good, buddy. Mr. Big Tails here is not the best at sharing all the time, are you, buddy? So he gets his own tray. The barn here, finishing up the door for the front, and it is wrapped up pretty quick considering we started the project like September, October or something. This whole coop area, I'm getting my ducks in here complete controlled, a little pool for them, some water in it for them, and then I can easily grab them quickly. Once this whole thing is done, the big picture here is I can load up the goats from over in here and get them through this channel here, jumped up onto and into the trailer, and then I can pull forward. I can load up the birds up top in this top chamber, because they'll be in this secured area. There's also some that perch up in these two tents, so I know exactly where they're at night, and load up. And then rabbits in the cages, once those are built, I'll be able to get them from where I'm at easily, because they're right there with me. Quickly, it can be done, quick and precise, all the time, spent building and doing the things and thinking through them as I'm working tirelessly, figuring it out and honing in on a plan for the moment that will come. I already know how this thing goes, that I'll have to bug out again. Goose went up in the back of this enclosure here, and there's a goose and some ducks are back there laying eggs. They're making a nest in the back corner, and it's really cool. It's dark in there, so you can really see it, but I got a picture I'll show you. And the pigs, it's getting the expansion, which is where you see these railroad ties are down. I'm using them as the base so the pigs don't dig out, and then I'm going to be building the fence around it using the T-posts. About twice as much room. Perfect. I'm actually building a pig port too to put over top. And you see how muddy it's getting. So you don't want to have a pigsty that's muddy. Adding to this all of the material that I'm raking up, old spent bedding and sticks and pieces of wood, all organic, nothing that's metal, no screws or nails and anything. Open it up here. This fence here is going to come out on this side. This fence on this side here actually became the weakest point. So it's good that this whole thing is getting done. I've leaned in on this, and I want to go ahead and secure this whole fence again with another layer of fencing from the inside around this back here. These pigs are getting big, and I want to be absolutely sure that they're not going to make a break through any of the perimeters through the fence. How the hole's still intact, settled a little bit over here, down here. I've got my potatoes in the ground here. I got to get these out soon and get them planted. Going to have to take one tie. I'm going to take one at the end. I'll still be able to cover this up well. You see, this here is the water and how high up it crept. So that gives you an idea of just what's going on in there. And I went down about 4 feet, 4.5 feet. So there's a couple feet of water. That pipe will come out, and I'm going to be building the stove for the bug out trailer. That's going to be one of the next things too. And separate the two chambers and finish that up. I gotta fence in, put a piece of fencing up in there still, put the top over, put the sides on, put the lights on. I did all the measurements. It's 8 feet, 5 inch, 3/4 wide. So the legal width is 8 feet, 6 inches. So in case the cop wants to be a dick, it's a 1/4 inch shy of the legal limit for the width of a trailer. So I maximize my space, and then the length, you can go pretty long. It wasn't a measurement I was concerned with. And the same with the height, you can actually go pretty high. So that's legal height still, well within the legal parameters for the height. So I got lights that are magnetic, so I don't have to deal with the wiring underneath. I ordered some magnetic trailer lights, and I'm gonna make some mounts to let them stick to, and I'll also secure them a second time over with some wire or something like that, screws or wire, whatever, so that they're extra secure, and that'll be fine. I actually have to extend the wires on them because they didn't come long enough. I had to do some splicing, cut it in, and it's not just about having all of the utility, but it's also about, it's a piece of art. So it actually is quite something. And it's going to have a ramp to get up into, so you see it's going to be sectioned off here still with fencing, and then maybe something to block the view of, and I can be in here and work in here with just enough room to operate out of this. I could even jack this up and hold more weight if it sits stationary. It can be housing for much more than it can probably even hold if I had it jacked up and I was able to bug out with somebody else to load up the rest of the animals in a separate trailer to get to our destination, to also have this to then operate out of for me. I see that being in the cards for us. So don't count yourself out. better have a plan too. Hold on, look, I gotta show you. Look, I customized my phone stand so that I could hold it and prop it up to do the video. So this is going to hold the phone. Here. Is this your new home, buddy? What a perspective we have here, don't we, Jer? Extra delicate, gentle with my dudes. Celery, 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 and another celery. So there's 5 of them that made it here, and that's wonderful because I love celery. It's a superfood, and I'm gonna grow a lot of it out there in the garden this season. Bringing in all of this red band fencing pieces that I've used already, and I'm going to go 2 layers thick of fencing, and I'm going to stagger it so it makes even tighter channels. I secured this part here with extra stakes, which is kind of like this one here, this one, and that one, where you see that they're at an angle, because where this little pool was, I got to fill that in still, and I feel a lot safer this way. And then there are still 3 straight ones, which will line up with the fence going down. So it's extra security, it's reinforced. All this is gonna get wired in, tied to, but loosely at first. Enough to keep it here, but so it settles when the pigs get in here and really start tearing at this. These are gonna settle a bit like that right there. Check out this goose egg. It's like 3 eggs in one. It's fantastic. 3/4 of the way now. It's pulled tight. Got it all wired nice. There's 2 layers of fencing already here up into about this point. I'm gonna do the same the way down. Set this fence. I went in here. I've been getting real good with the wire. I even pulled the post slightly to add that pressure, you might say, force, because it will naturally want to straighten back up, and it pulls tight. So that's working really well at every post. You can just see how tight it is. And then at every single cross section, I have this wire. And the second layer doesn't have to be that tight with that many wraps. Just a few good ones at certain points. Inside the original pig pen, there is ties like this, not actual railroad ties, but they're similar and big, but they've sunk. I don't see them. You can't even see them. So they're down there, but they're in here, except for back there I put those pallets up against to keep them from pushing out. I have to design their feed and water dishes, because you see how they're drinking their water still. I'm pouring it. You see how I slammed that steak and then I just kind of slid a pot? That was my way of getting by for the moment, but now it's time to upgrade and build big systems that are really functional. I'm gonna get clever and build them all here. I'm not gonna buy a thing. You don't need to. So many ways to repurpose. And use the materials you have on hand. And it's fun. It's innovative. You get to invent shit. Huh? Look at my boys, and my boys got their balls. Yeah, they do. They do. Can't you tell? Arrgh. They got their hormones are raging. Get them, buddy. Yeah. Bust them, buddy. Don't let him get away with nothing. Jerry's a little patchy still, just a little. Just because he singed a little on the wood stove back when we were in the tent. Dude, dude, Thunderson, you're gonna get bung. You're gonna get banged up, buddy. You're gonna get, oh yeah, you mess with the horns. Oh, well, buddy, you mess with the bull, you get the horns. He's a big boy. Oh, there was some thunder in that one. Just about complete. The fence all in place on the posts and the ties set. So what I'll do is I'll wrap a wire, 1, 2, 3, and then I will sew and twist a wire as well between those 3 and the fence so that it really pulls it tight. The fun part, I'm excited to be able to get out of the mud at some point in life. And this whole area here where it's going to be garden is a lot of mud. Right here where the tents are, where I just came from, living in the mud. It's like a wild world out here, but it's all worth it. So worth it. Gotta start somewhere. What is this? Where are you? Where are you, Mama? You like it? We do good? This is where they have the most fun. Wiggums. Mr. Wiggums. Bro, it's been a minute since you got into some fresh soil, isn't it? So you see it's double layered. He's excited, yeah. They are excited. And the other one still hasn't found it yet. It's just a little door. I could go ahead and patch that up if I really wanted to. Separate these to have 2 different areas. How did they get over here, sweetie? How did they do it? Female gilt. He's the boar. It's another gilt. And this is the barrow. So a barrow is a castrated male for meat. I didn't castrate him. I won't be doing that. I'm discontinuing those practices here. So there's other ways. There's ways around it. You don't have to cut the balls off your animals. I like them to have their testosterone and their hormones. Absolutely, little bubbas. Did we do good? I gotta fill this back in. What do you think, sir? What do you think, buddy? What do you think? You can really gallop now. Gonna fill this in more. I'm gonna get straw though. I put a hay bale and so much from the yard, and there's still so much old spent hay, leaves and twigs and other organic matter to throw in there and build that back up. Of course, that's the whole big thing as we go here. Now that everything's thawed, I can get to it, and I have been. But it was just so bad. But it was frozen over winter, So it was okay, and they had their house and they destroyed it because he blew through it. You know? Wood wasn't holding up. Got to use metal. That'll hold up. Metal and wire and these T-posts. I earned it. You know, these boots were rated for lifetime warranty. I've had them like 5 or 6 months. Completely blew through them. And shoelaces too, that's another thing. I put so much pressure and force that they blow my shoelaces apart. Shoelaces last me like a month. I've tried using wire and baling string. Wire actually works. Baling string phrase. What's up, Mr. Wiggly? Oh my gosh, oh my god, it's already like totally destroyed in here. Give them like 5 minutes. That's all they need to destroy everything. That's why you can't let your pigs get out ever. Which is why I added all this extra security. Nothing's too much when it comes to your pigs. Especially if they're like trained to eat meat. They could get out and kill somebody. I don't know. They're like pack hunters too. So they go after a bird for sure. First thing, they'd take one down, I'm sure. I would have to kill one and lure them back in with meat. I had to do it once when they were younger. It's chaos. It's not something you want to do or ever have to do. So take all the precautions and steps necessary. Fully secure your pigs. They can't get out. And one of the biggest things is their rooting. They'll root down under a fence, but this they won't go up under. It's too much, really. But up under a fence, they'll get up under that quick. So when I originally set these, they all lined up well. The ties lined up right against the posts, but after I put the fence in, there's about a foot of play where it shrunk. And that is because the fence in on the post is going to lose some inches there. That makes sense. So I got to use something else there, which is going to be like this here. And then there's a piece of wood over there. A big long piece of timber that's right there. And I'm going to use those two pieces to fit. The next few things to do in here is get this completely fluffed up with straw and material from the yard, and then put another layer of fence around the inside of the original enclosure. Then hook up big water systems that work really well. Build a pig port. Pig port probably sooner than the water and feed system. I got a way I can feed them and water them right now. Port first, give them shelter, and then work on that. And those are some big moves. And then just prepare for summer after that, move on to other projects, and expect for piglets. Keep them fed. Feeding them's a big thing. Find ways and continue to work at getting them food that I can grow sustainably. It's big for the pigs. I can't really forage them right now. They're gonna be in here, so I gotta bring them feed from elsewhere. And if I can raise enough animals, enough rabbits, there's like 50 rabbits now that I have with all these new nests. So if I can get that scale even doubled from here this year, at least, that's a big move right there. And then grow enough rabbits. Rabbits super sustainable with the way that they eat. Herbivore. It's easy, simple. Grow enough of them. Feed everybody, and that can be it right there.